He says you're a bad speller.
He's right.
But also that you have some kind of encyclopedic mind. So you see, the charm must still be working.
You said that?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, good. When the charm stops working, you let me know.
You'll be the first to know.
Yes, and I want a story that says the United States is far out in front of the Soviet Union with our rockets, and that we intend to put a man on the moon.
You'll have it. When you have a man in the moon.
On the moon, Kenny. There already is a man in the moon, and he's not necessarily an American.
What about the comments that the cost of space is astronomical?
Well, let's leave out any mention of astronomy.
You could talk about science.
Yes, but I don't know enough about science to speak of. I do know that we are far in front with our weaponry, and I want the Soviets and the Chinese to know that, too. I want the White House press to reflect a confident image of this administration in view of U.S. involvement in Vietnam.
Something on Van Braun?
No. Not while I'm just about to embark on a trip to London, Dave. I think the British people would find it offensive, and rightly so, if I make any mention of Von Braun in England. I want to talk about his rockets going to the moon, not blitzing London.
We should run more stories on civil rights.
Yes, very good. Let's have Pierre work up something about the Negro and the new frontier.
The moon's good.
The moon?
Make it the place for the new American heroes?
Yes. Emphasize the moon. Let's be very clear. Let's be bold. Let us say that we intend to put a man on the moon and to bring him back safely again by the first day of 1970.
The countdown.
All right, lift off and the clock is started. Yes, sir, reading it loud and clear. This is Freedom 7. The fuel is go 1.2 G. Cabin at 14 psi. Oxygen is go. Cabin pressure is holding at 5.5. Okay, it's a lot smoother now. A lot smoother. 7 here. Fuel is go 4 G. 5.5 cabin. Oxygen go. All systems are go. What a beautiful view. Control is smooth. My condition is good.
We are seeing a real hero. Incredible. Congratulations, Lyndon. We're on our way now.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Jackie, you missed a liftoff. How are you, sweetheart? Mrs. Lincoln, make sure that line is open so that I can talk to Commander Shepard as soon as he's picked up.
Well, as long as he doesn't make a left and go to the moon.
In that case, leave the line open. I'll say goodbye. We'll be 8 years ahead of schedule.
Well, what more is needed? Well, say something, boy.
Yes, sir.
Don't keep on saying yes, sir, yes, sir. You mean no, sir. No more is needed.
You want us to hold off her, sir?
I do not. I want you to stay so close in there, boy, that I know even the time of day that she clips her nails. And I want all the other files on the other men, too. I want all the records, banks, hospitals, medical. I want everything. Well, suppose it leaked out. Sex, adultery, the president. And suppose you hadn't told me, boy. That would be bad. Very, very bad. You think you'd be too busy? Moonshots, counterinsurgency. No, I know. He's more interested in women. Always women.
It's not fair. Somebody put their foot in my mouth. Well, for a change, it wasn't yours.
Well, and then Johnson called DM the Winston Churchill of Southeast Asia.
I don't believe it.
He did.
And some guy from the Washington Post really got a hold of Johnson about it. Come on, Mr. Vice President, you don't really think that.
Well, what did Johnson say?
He said, "Man, he's the only boy we got out there." But the best part was in India. I guess he must have told about 10,000 people to come and visit him in Washington, including a camel driver, and see him in his office.
Camel driver? What if he shows up?
You can handle it, Pierre.
Outside the Taj Mahal, he turned to Jean and he said, "Little lady, you have to build something like this for Steve one day."
What did DM think of Johnson?
Well, DM just talked on and on. He just never stopped talking. Johnson sat there, knee to knee, a big look of concern all over his face. It was amazing.
Now, despite his flaw, I owe Johnson a great deal. I wouldn't be in the White House today if it wasn't for him. And that doesn't change the fact that DM's a bum.
More confident bum now.
Steve, I'd like to know just what we're getting for our money over there.
Not much.
We're not getting anything. All that talk from DM and his brother about cleaning up the place is a lot of nonsense. There's still widespread corruption and graft and drug use and prostitution. The secret police are still persecuting the Buddhists and anyone else who opposes the government. The whole damn place is falling apart. How much longer can I really convince the Joint Chiefs that sending in combat troops is insane? How do I win a political fight with military means when there's not even a war?
Well, I think you ought to do just what you said.
You mean wait? Yeah. Getting very concerned about Vietnam. I don't want another Cuba. I don't need another Castro on my back.
Bob's right. Just wait. Play it cool.
Why can't I just be left alone and be a great president?
I learned in Saigon that Diem prefers not to have American forces on his soil. It makes his administration seem dependent, weak. Diem has many good qualities, but those who advise him are less worthy. I believe that he can assist this country prevent the cancer of communism in Southeast Asia. We must fight it there. I believe we can do so. I believe that we can win the battle. Now, the program of military aid must be carried out with care, but it is a war, Mr. President, and one to which I am committed.
Thank you, Lyndon. I appreciate all you've done.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President.
So, we are committed to DM.
Yes, but without the use of ground forces.
I don't want to see that happen.
Yet the general feeling is, Mr. President, that people want, well, decisive action in South Vietnam.
Do you advocate the use of ground forces?
Well, if the invasion starts down from the north, do we think Diem's forces can hold the line?
I'm asking you, General Taylor.
I think we have to win the situation, even if it takes our troops to win.
So you understand what I want. I want to see South Vietnam as an anti-communist center of resistance in Southeast Asia.
That's what's needed, Mr. President. We need to strengthen support for Diem, give him confidence.
Yes. And I want to see a political solution there. Let's be very clear about that. I do not want to have to pursue a military solution in South Vietnam.
In that case, how do you counter pressures on us for military action of some kind?
By waiting.
Even if you're accused of a lack of firmness?
Lack of firmness about what?
About not committing yourself militarily.
I am going to be very firm about not committing myself, or this country, or its troops, to a situation we can't win, at least not yet. And people think that that is a weak position. Well, then that's just what they'll have to think.
Go on TV, Jack. If the American people know that the peace in Vietnam will be an American peace, they'll buy it. I know what people buy.
I'm not going on TV and elevate the importance of Vietnam to Berlin.
So you send in the special forces to educate the natives in counterinsurgency.
DM wants troops.
Let them have them. You're commander-in-chief. You're in charge, Jack. You can always stop short of war.
Maybe. The other day, George Ball told me that by 1966, he believes there'll be 250,000 fighting men in Vietnam.
What'd you say to him?
I said, George, you're crazy.
Well, don't get into a war you can't win, Jack. If our boys have to go, they have to go. They're well paid. They're paid to win.
Well, that's hardly inspirational for combat, Dad.
I agree.
Are you telling me that the American Communist Party presents a threat to the United States? Mr. Hoover.
Menace, Mr. Kennedy. Menace. My job is the eradication of the communist cancer.
Look, I have read the authorized FBI history. There is no mention of Johnny Torrio, Waxy Gordon, the Bioffs, or Luciano.
We mentioned Capone. My bureau has really no jurisdiction over organized crime.
That is simply not true.
I met with Costello.
Yeah, the mafia.
There is no organized mafia. I don't mind retiring, Mr. Kennedy. I have my pension.
I am not asking you to retire. I am asking you to recognize the existence of organized crime and to do something about it. And I want you to know this, too. Legal wiretaps will be limited to major crimes.
You want to abolish my weapon?
I do not. I wish only to authorize it.
You mean the Attorney General?
Yeah, me! Look, I find it incredible that we are sitting here arguing. I am having to persuade you to investigate and attack organized crime.
There is a time, a place, and the right way of doing things, Mr. Kennedy. Experience will teach you. Right now, my bureau is under your instructions investigating murders, lynchings, and assaults, particularly in southern states, wherever there is Negro subversion. Now you ask me to fight organized crime that doesn't exist in the way that we understand organizations. Well, the problem is that we're wasting our time using the FBI to investigate too many occasions when nigger women get themselves raped.
Then secure evidence for conviction. Now, you have only 5 Negro agents out of 5,000. So don't let it be said that you're soft on organized crime as well.
I will get evidence on Negro agitation.
Yeah, then produce it. And there will be more Negro agents.
Not while I'm director, Mr. Kennedy.
Now, look, understand me. The Negroes are within their rights. They have fine leaders. The president knows that. I know that.
You're a young man, Mr. Kennedy. And I've been around much longer than you, and I know things you don't about this nation and about the president.
Then tell him.
When I'm ready.
Jackie's going to be an international sensation in Europe. Macmillan, de Gaulle, the royal family, even the Germans. I know these people. They understand class, and that's what Jackie has, class.
Chic.
What?
Chic.
We had that and class, too.
I like to think so.
I think you ought to go to Europe with them.
I'm going to be in Paris anyway.
That's what I mean. Let's have the State Department involve you in the entire trip. Why not?
I'd love it.
I'll call Jack. Did you see this? Look, corset. See?
Jack has to wear a corset of his back.
They don't have to print it in the paper. Now, what are the French going to think? An American president wearing a corset that he's some sort of pansy.